Hi, thanks for checking out this video. We are going to look at some of the arguments and compromises that challenged our founding fathers as they crafted our Constitution. After watching this video, you should be able to identify some of the major debates that developed at the Constitutional Convention and the compromises that allowed for that convention to draft a document that could be approved by the vast majority of the states. I should note that on many of these slides, I provide quotes from the Constitution. You do not need to add those quotes to your notes unless you want to. The purpose of providing these excerpts in the presentation is for you to see how the compromises discussed in this video made their way into the Constitution. So without further ado, the first debate we are going to examine in this video is the debate between the New Jersey plan favored by small states and the preferred plan of more populous states, the Virginia plan. Both of these plans were discussed in a previous video. The Connecticut Compromise resolved the greatest debate at the convention, the debate between large states and small states over how each state would be represented in the legislature. Robert Sherman proposed a bicameral legislature where in one house, representation would be based on population. In our government, that house is the House of Representatives. Sherman also proposed that the other house of the legislature, the Senate, every state would have the same number of representatives. The Constitution spells it out like this: representatives in the House of Representatives shall be apportioned among several states according to their respective numbers. In another spot in the Constitution, it reads, the Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state. And again, this is the Connecticut Compromise. This plan was brilliant because Connecticut Compromise gave both small states and large states, in some ways, the representation that they wanted. Another issue at the convention in Philadelphia was over slavery. Imagine that. The question was how slaves would be counted and how the number of enslaved people would be reflected in what would become the House. Slave states wanted their slave populations counted because if the slaves were counted, then their states would have larger populations and thus more representation and influence in the House of Representatives. Northern states did not want slaves counted. Northern states did not want slave-holding Southern states to have too much power and influence and thus an advantage in the House. The compromise that they reached was the disturbing 3/5 compromise. You can see that compromise in the Constitution where it reads, numbers shall be determined by adding the whole number of free persons, including those bound to service for a term of years, and excluding Indians not taxed, 3/5 of all other persons. Those other persons are slaves. Therefore, the compromise was that all free people would be counted and 3/5 of slaves would be counted. While there were other conflicts and compromises at the convention, these 2 debates were among the most significant. So now that you've seen this video, you should be able to identify some of the convention's major conflicts and discuss how they were resolved. Thanks for watching. And where do cows go for entertainment? To the movies. I think I said that wrong. It's more like to the movies. 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 I'm saying it wrong. You get it. It's not particularly funny any way you say it. So, anyway, thanks.